Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name's Amanda if you haven't met me yet. Today we are getting a bunch of fall gardening tasks done. There are also quite a few of spring flowers that I want to be putting in the ground this fall. One of the biggest ones that I'm super excited about is the Crocus. This is a super early spring flower. So basically, first spring weather that comes along next season, these are going to be the first flowers that are going to pop out of the ground. As well as flowers, I did find a couple varieties of Brassicas that were perfect for this time of year. I was able to find two different types of kale. So I've got this guy, which honestly I can't even remember what it is and I don't have a tag for it. But I got both of these at Fort Thomas Florist, which they also have a couple different varieties of edible food, or edible plants. This is a Kale Osaka White, and he is huge and fluffy and ready to go in the ground. I did pick up two 4-packs of a cauliflower and a broccoli. Honestly, there wasn't that wide of a selection, which is pretty typical for fall crops, at least in my area. Box stores and smaller shops typically don't have as much of options. So this is just a snow crown. I tried to pick the ones that were pretty straight up and down so they weren't kind of wonky and off to the sides, as well as their leaves looked pretty healthy and green. This one has a few that are they're just the lower limbs that are ready to come off. So I need to find some good spots for these guys as well as the kale in my garden, which I think I'm going to go ahead and take down my makeshift tomato trellis and all of the tomatoes that are in there, just because the temperatures are supposed to be getting down to the 40s and 50s at night, and warm weather crops typically don't like that and they will start to die. I'm already starting to see some brown leaves as well as just different types of diseases on my plants. My arch trellis was taken out. I don't know if it's just from the weight of the cucamelons and the beans that are fighting it out on top of it, or if the deer that live in my backyard decided to trample it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to support that with just a T-post in the meantime, just because the cucamelons and the beans are still thriving on it, and I'm waiting for the bean pods to go ahead and dry out before I harvest them. So let's go ahead and hop over to the garden. So as you guys can see here, this trellis is not in a good situation. So actually down here, this bottom part actually snapped. And I'm not sure if it's just because the weight of all of this foliage or if my deer decided to run it over. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually put a T-post in on the other side just to help support it and keep it upright. Just because there's still so much food on this. There are cucamelons literally everywhere. And then we also have some beans that are battling it out up at the top. So I want to give this the most time to succeed in getting the largest harvest, so I'm going to go ahead and fix this. The trellis is upright. We're going to go ahead and move on to that next task. I need to go ahead and remove my corn. This was one thing that was not successful this year. So as you can see, this corn is well past its life. Honestly, I think any of the corn cobs that I did have on it, the squirrels and the deer got to. But it's time for this to get removed. So we're just going to go ahead and add this stuff to the compost pile, just because it's a really good fuel for whatever vegetables or flowers that I need to add that compost to. So back here is actually where I keep most of my larger composts, right behind my sad little raspberry plant. Okay, so right here I actually have a dahlia plant, and again I think my lovely deer friends trampled this, so now he's all falling over. But this is my Seattle dahlia. I was going to go ahead and collect the tubers today, but after some more reading I actually realized that I need to go ahead and wait until my first frost, until all of the foliage or most of the foliage has died back. That's when the tubers in the ground are going to be most mature, and the more mature they are, the better they're going to hold up in storage. So I'm going to wait on these guys, as well as my crazy love dahlias that are in my pot over here. These plants have been beautiful, and I'm so excited to go ahead and potentially multiply them and have more bundles of beautiful flowers that the bees just love. So I am going to go ahead and, however, remove my sunflowers. They have long past bloomed and died back. I'm going to go ahead and save the seeds off of the ones that I can. My really large ones that I had, the squirrels got to, the birds got to, so no seeds really from those, except for, I think I have one little bloom here, and he still has all of his seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the heads of these guys to save, and then remove the giant stalks that are in the ground. I'm going to go ahead and leave all of the stems or roots in the ground, just so that we're putting more nutrients back into the soil. Plus it doesn't hurt anything to leave them in there. Ooh, that'll be fun. Okay, so the next project I need to go ahead and tackle is getting rid of all of these tomato plants. There are quite a few that have some blushing tomatoes, so those tomatoes that have started to blush I will go ahead and harvest. The rest of them won't have enough time in my current season to fully ripen. So they're just going to go in my compost pile, which is fine. And then this bed, I think I'm going to go ahead and plant my broccoli and my cauliflower. So let's get down to taking this monstrosity to the ground. Okay, so the easy part has been done. The majority of the foliage from the front half of the tomato bed has been removed. As you can see there, it's pretty much bare. Now I just have to figure out how I'm going to remove these back plants, because a lot of the beans, and I actually have my pumpkin plant trellising, it's climbing its way all over this. So I have to figure out how to remove the tomato plants without killing off the bean plants that are intertwined in them. So it's going to be a fun little mess. So as you guys can see behind me, all of the tomatoes have been removed, and it is time to go ahead and I think I'm going to put my broccoli and my cauliflower in this bed. So I'm going to go ahead and find some good spots. I probably need to weed a little bit, and potentially remove some of the flowers that I had put in here, like the nasturtiums and the marigolds. I might leave the marigolds and take out the nasturtiums, just because the marigolds will bring pollinators. I'm going to go ahead and weed this bed a little bit first, and then we can pop these in the ground. So as you can see here, I actually have quite a few of dried black beans that are completely dry, and they are ready to come off the vine so that I can put these away for winter. Okay, so I think the plan is to plant 4 of my broccoli down here, and then my 4 cauliflower down on my other bed down there. So I'm just going to pick some spots that are about a foot apart. This part of the bed is getting more sun versus that area because of my trellis. So I'm going to go ahead and probably plant one around there, there, and probably up front. I'm just going to go ahead and dig some holes. And tentatively place these guys So I'm not going to dig these into the soil much deeper than the top of the soil is, just because it's not quite like tomatoes where you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to break the bottom of the roots a little bit just so that they start to grab hold of what is already there. And these are all placed around my drip tape. So I'll go ahead and turn that on. I don't believe that we're supposed to get any rain today. We did get a little bit yesterday, but I just want to make sure that these get watered in fairly well. Okay, so this back half of the bed, I'm going to go ahead and plant my cauliflower. These starts were a little better off than the broccoli. And this part of the bed gets pretty good sun. I'm going to go ahead and actually remove my cosmos that have completely died back, but let's go ahead and plant these about a foot apart. Again, I'm going to go ahead, I actually had seeded this area with Napa cabbage and Sun King broccoli, but none of those seeds came up, which is the thing that happens with gardening. There are failures and there are successes, and you really just have to take pride in the fact that a lot of your stuff will not grow, it will not succeed, but a lot of it will. So I'm going to go ahead and put, I think that's pretty good spacing. These guys here, actually I might put him a little closer. And hopefully we get some beautiful cauliflower. This is just the typical white cauliflower. And then we'll go ahead and water all of these starts in real well. Ooh, there's a grub. We're gonna go in there. So again, I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen up the bottom roots so that they are encouraged to go ahead and spread. I'm just going to remove this bottom leaf because he's dead. I had some garlic right there. Wow, lots of garlic. Interesting. Okay, so my camera died outside, but I harvested the rest of my tomatillos, the rest of my banana peppers. I have a lot of stray dried black beans. I have some tomatoes. I found some peppers that were ready. These are Mad Hatter. And then this is my sad attempt at breakfast, or French breakfast cabbage, or this is my sad attempt at French breakfast radishes, which they're not very pretty. I'm not a big radish eater, but I planted them because they're like a 25-day variety, and I figured why not, but I'm pretty sure I forgot about these. So, some random ones of those, and then I have some sunflower seeds that need to finish up drying, and then I'll harvest the seeds from that. So I've got a couple more projects that I need to go ahead and handle, but that's going to be the end of the video for today. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next time.